Good name is Center Drive.
All right, I'd like to call today's meeting to order. It's March 6, 2018 at 2 p.m. If we could all stand for the pledge, please. Jody, you want to lead the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I'll turn the meeting over to Jim.
Hi, this morning, or this afternoon, for our invocation, we are pleased to have with us the Reverend Dr. Sean B. Murray from the First Congregational Church right here in downtown Riverhead. Thank you for being with us, Reverend Murray.
You're welcome. You can be seated here. I mean, if you like to pray and stand, you can stand. But you can sit and pray too. Yeah, it works for us. So, good afternoon. Nice to see you. I hope you're well. Together we pray. Good and gracious God, we open our hearts with thanksgiving. We give you thanks for a warm and a dry place to be, for shelter from the storms, for your presence in all our days. Help us, dear Lord, to put you on our daily agendas. Help us to be mindful of the guidance we can receive and indeed we need from you. Loving one, bless these people, our town, bless the members of the board and the supervisor with the wisdom that's needed so that their considerations and deliberations may not give occasion for derision or opprobrium, but rather for peace and thankfulness and praise. Bless us, help us, and guide us. In your great name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend.
I'm going to say a little prayer for that HVAC system up there.
Can I get approval of the minutes for the town board meeting on February 21st of 2018?
I move to approve the minutes.
And I'll second.
Moved and seconded, votes please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
The minutes are approved. I'll just go into correspondence. A letter from Mike Harrigan requesting that the town board consider the 30-acre recreational RFP to include an indoor swimming pool. S Power sent a notice of informational meeting regarding the Riverhead Solar 2 project on March 14th, 2018 at the Residence Inn Long Island East End at 2012 Old Country Road, Riverhead, and there will be two sessions, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Under reports, the building department sent a February monthly report for $57,361.25. Tax receiver total tax collection to date as of, I'll just read the last one, February 28th, $88,951,979.83.
Thank you very much. And now, I will open the public hearing. Our first public hearing, which was to start at 2 o'clock, which is starting at 2:10, is the consideration of a proposed local law to amend Chapter 289 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Vehicles, Traffic, Parking Regulations, Article 1, Penalties. If anybody would like to come up and address this public hearing?
I don't even have to come up, could you explain?
If you
Okay,
just need to come
I
up and
will,
introduce
for the
yourself,
record.
yes.
Okay.
Warren McKnight, Riverhead. I just, I've lived in this town for a very long time, and I'm familiar with the parking regulations. I just want to know if there's any new changes, and it doesn't state this in here.
Well, this one changes some of the parking fees, because previously, there was we had a little bit of a discrepancy between what was in the resolution for the ticket, what the tickets were listed as, and everything else. So this is just bringing everything into coordination with each other to be able to issue the tickets and then have the tickets enforced.
Okay.
So we would change, by resolution, would change the dollar amount of the fine, but the tickets showed a different amount. So when we would give the people the tickets, they would say, well, I'm only gonna pay $50.
It
or-
used to be $100 when I,
Well,
if I
it
got
was,
it.
it was $100, and then it was brought down to $40 with the resolution, but then the code was not changed to reflect the same. So there were several steps in it, and they were not all necessarily lined up correctly, so that when the ticket was issued, it could be enforced appropriately. So now we've just coordinated everything. So the parking tickets, there's various parking tickets, and they all carry various penalties, and that's what will be listed here in the resolution.
Okay, and how about the enforcement? I notice that, you know, it says any day but Sunday, you could park downtown Riverhead on Main Street for 2 hours. And, you know, I'm sometimes glad it hasn't been enforced, but, you know, I don't know whether it's gonna be enforced or not.
Well, that was all part of this, because it was not allowing us to enforce them the way we wished to, because there was some inconsistencies with the resolutions and with the tickets. So now that we're bringing it all together, we will be able to enforce it.
Okay, so you will, and what are you doing to have an enforcement people to do this? Is it gonna be the status quo, or is it gonna be increased or decreased, or, you know, in other words, you know?
We intend on enforcing the laws that are applied downtown for parking.
Okay, and you have the people power to do that.
We hope that we do, and if we find that it's not being enforced correctly, then we will address it at that point. But right now, we feel like having this done, that we will be able to enforce it.
Okay, one more question. On Sunday, if I park downtown Sunday,
We'll tow you out of there.
come on, all day it says it's Sunday.
Just you, we're just gonna tow you out of there.
That stays the same, Warren. It doesn't apply on Sundays. It's just Monday through Saturday.
Great.
And this code revision is based on a complaint that we received where somebody showed up in justice court and actually contested a ticket because our code was different than what the ticket actually said that they had to pay. So the town attorney's office came up and said, we have to fix this along with the supervisor, so.
Yeah, well, I just want to say that I love our town, and there's a lot of different things. I remember once we had the parking meters, and I just want to, and I hope our town gets a little bit up to par. But I remember I got a notice after 7 years that the meter was expired.
I did too.
And I went down, and of course, the person who gave the ticket wasn't available, so the whole case was dismissed, but I had to go to town justice court, you know.
It was a
So
$3 ticket, they wanted $150.
that's corrected in this ticket also, so there's a signed affidavit on the ticket,
I
so
went
that
to
they
trial on
will be
mine.
more enforceable. So we've taken a look at that, we've closed that loophole.
Well, I don't know if it was a loophole or not, but after 7 years, I didn't remember. You know.
Just, I'm gonna make just a comment, I wasn't going to, but just so that there's clarity. In the prior subsections A and B, when you read them, they were lumped into a general category, which led to some confusion and different interpretations, different reads of what subsection A meant and what subsection B meant. The new proposed codification is gonna lay out each and every section. So if you violate 28910, for example, which is labeled parking prohibited, it'll be clear the fine is $50. It goes through each and every one of those so that you know what the particular section under chapter 289 will involve as far as a fine. Handicap parking is gonna stay as it is, which is $280, which is $250 plus a $30 surcharge. And then the one other change is that if you fail to pay on time, the previous version provided for a 30, 60, and 90-day window where the amount went up $20 each. Now it's gonna be 30 and 60 days, and it's going to increase at a greater rate, so that if you fail to answer within the first 30 days, it's gonna bump up. If you fail to answer within you get a ticket, you have to answer within 30 days. It'll bump up a fine.
Not 7
If
years.
you fail to answer within the next 30 days, it'll bump up, there'll be additional penalty. So it's just a 2-prong bump up instead of a 3-prong bump up. All right?
All right, and there was one thing I also wanted to mention, I just sort of slipped my mind right now, I've noticed when I go to shopping centers, especially the Best Market and was it TJ Maxx?
Right.
I mean, the people do, in the fire lanes, they're always constantly parked there. And that is a hazard, and also for pedestrians and everything else. I think it would behoove the town, in a matter of public safety, if they could get some enforcement done on that, and maybe get people in line and protect the various public. And also, for me driving there, because sometimes there's a car on this side and there's a car on that side.
I
So
agree with you.
We agreed, and that's why we're tightening up the system for administering the tickets, so
So
that's.
hopefully it could be a better
Well, I
enforcement.
can tell you,
Thank you.
we get a lot of tickets from that particular plaza for parking in the fire zone. It's just that, you know, it's just never come around.
I think you can get a lot more.
Your problem.
Yeah, thank you, I'm
Thank you.
sorry, but, you know,
We agree with you, Warren.
it's a great town, I love this town.
Seeing nobody else come up on this issue, I will close this public hearing at 2:15, but leave it open for written comment until Friday, March 16th. We move on to our next public hearing that was supposed to begin at 2:05, that will begin at 2:15. And as a consideration of a proposed local law to amend Chapter 101 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled General Provisions, Article 5, Financial Impact Statement Requirement. If anybody would like to come up and address that? Seeing nobody, I will close that public hearing.
If I can just say, it says, under C, any town board member may request from the town department that prepared any resolution, ordinance, or local law which is subject to the provision of this subsection, additional information regarding the fiscal impact statement. Will the town board receive copies of all of the fiscal impact statements?
Yes, with the resolutions, you'll get that.
Okay, so there'll be a resolution for every fiscal impact statement.
There'll be a fiscal impact statement for every resolution, yes.
Nice.
Okay.
And, you know, even if there is no fiscal impact, there's a mark that you would check on that.
Talking about a fiscal impact in a minute.
Seeing nobody else, I will close this public hearing again and leave it open for written comment until Friday, March 16th. And we'll now open the next public hearing, so it's 2:17. It was supposed to start at 2:10, and that is the consideration of a proposed local law to amend Chapter 255 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Parades, Assemblies, and Special Events, Article 2. If anybody would like to come up and comment on this public hearing? Seeing nobody?
Well,
This is a public hearing. This is when people come in to file a Chapter 225 event, it requires that they have insurance. So if somebody comes in and does not have their.
Partial application.
Right, a partial application, there will be an additional fee for that.
I like
But it also states that if you do not provide the additional information 30 days prior to the event will be removed from the calendar.
The hardest thing with that is, and I understand why you're doing that, because it takes manpower to go over these applications, is a lot of times these insurance companies don't issue these letters that far in advance of an event.
Then you need coverage from that
And you
time.
need coverage from that time. So I can understand the $50 non-refundable, but the 30-day might be.
Well, they should be able to, because you can have your insurance, yeah. You can tell your insurance company you buy it for that date, you can buy it out, you know, a year for that date, yeah.
And just for the correct record, it's section 255 of the town code, not section 225.
Oh, I always do, they say that.
So
255, sorry about that.
Chapter 255.
Okay.
Seeing nobody else, I will close the public hearing, leave it open for written comment until Friday, March 16th. And now for the last of the public hearings, opening at 2:20. We're supposed to open at 2:15. It's a consideration of a proposed local law entitled Local Law to Increase Salary of the Town Highway Superintendent for the 2018 fiscal year, subject to permissive referendum. If anybody would like to come up and address that?
I think, Jim, didn't you ask for this to be on work session on Thursday?
Yeah,
For the town board to discuss?
right.
Because I had
But
said
that
that.
doesn't keep us from having this.
It doesn't, they still can have the, public hearing.
We're not
Understood,
voting on this. We're
but
not voting
I
on this
said
today.
that a stipend is something that I would consider, but an automatic increase in salary for the highway superintendent when he may not run in a couple of years, and then he comes in, so a new superintendent comes in, and they don't wanna take over these responsibilities, and they're not required to under highway law. Then we would have to pay extra money, so,
No, then their salary would reflect same.
Well,
this,
Very simple.
once you increase it, then you would have to
No.
decrease it, and when,
Right.
when the highway superintendent's salary is advertised at $114,000 a year, the previous year, and say Gio were to be running against somebody and he were to not win the election, then that salary that it was published as would have to be the salary for that next year.
No, that's not, this sunsets, this salary sunsets at the end of this year. So it doesn't bump up the salary for the next year. That would then have to be determined, and that's what would be voted on.
Right.
Okay, well,
So
I'm
that
not
would be voted
supporting
on for the
it unless
public.
it's a stipend, I'm just saying.
I-
And I
okay.
told the highway superintendent that also.
And I think with any local law with this, it would have to be a year to
You
year
can,
anyway.
and you cannot do a stipend with an elected official.
No, I know that.
Because if you do a stipend with an elected official, when it's not, prior to the election, then it's a bump up in salary, an increase in salary, which you are not permitted to do, and that's why it was being done this way.
Well, I get that.
So,
I get why it's.
Harriet Haas, Riverhead. Jody, are you saying that if the salary is increased by the current highway superintendent, that means it's automatically increased for any for
Well-
any highway superintendent that comes in after that?
No, it's not.
They're saying it's only good for a year, but I don't know how we do that either.
Because that is what it sunsets as per the resolution.
Well, all I know is he does a very good job, so I'm in favor of increasing his salary.
But he's taking on added responsibilities, which is the municipal garage, the yard waste facility, and the sanitation department, where under highway law, he's not required to do those functions. So we're gonna give him more money, and if somebody else were to come in and say, that's a highway superintendent, and say, I'm not doing that, then the salary remains the same unless we
No, it
pull
doesn't.
it back.
It really doesn't,
He
Jody.
said
You
it
misrep-
doesn't.
And I hate to say that because I agree with you on so much of this issue. That's not the case. The statute
Okay.
sunsets at the end of the year. This isn't a carryover to the next year. His base salary is his posted salary. This is in addition to.
So
But
next-
it is only for 1 year. In fact, this is prorated to the point, it's gonna be 45 days from the adoption before it even takes place. So you're looking at
About 13,000.
probably half of that amount over 6 months and not over that. And subject not getting a petition to force it onto the ballot.
Correct.
Well, he's
Just-
doing a
calm
good
down.
job,
All right, wait a
that's
second,
what
one
I'm
person at a
saying.
time, let's let Harriet finish. It's a
Well,
public
he's
comment.
doing a good job, that's what I'm saying. It
He's
says-
not doing it right now, Harriet. He's not doing those jobs right now.
The municipal garage, he's not doing the garage, Harry.
Oh,
Oh, he's not doing the job that you're saying you'd increase his salary for?
It's an additional responsibility, the increase in salary is for adding an additional responsibility to the responsibilities that he has now. So basically, he's increasing the responsibilities by taking on the municipal garage, and as such, if that passes, then there would be a increase in salary for the period of time till the end of this year to take on those extra duties.
Does that change it?
Does that change?
Would that change whether he gets an increase in salary?
If this resolution does not pass, then he would not take on the municipal garage and he would not have an increase in salary, correct?
But I thought it was gonna be the municipal garage, the yard waste facility, and sanitation.
No.
Okay, well then I have a problem with that too. Okay.
All I know is that he's doing a good job, so that's why I'm in favor.
Thank you,
That's
we
all.
agree with
He is
you
doing a
also,
good
he's doing a
job.
very
Definitely
good
agree
job.
Yes, we agree.
But just for clarification, this is not about rewarding Gio for doing a good job as highway superintendent. This is giving additional monies to take on
More responsibility.
more responsibilities to what some perceive as some shortfalls in the running of the local municipal garage. So,
And it was
I-
supposed to be yard waste and sanitation, because
I don't know about
when
all
the
that.
yard waste, sanitation, when the superintendent of municipal garage, yard waste and sanitation retired, we gave out $35,000 worth of increases to the town engineer, several employees throughout the town, that they were supposed to absorb and take over those responsibilities. So now that that job is not getting done, as per our supervisor, we need to get somebody to oversee that, and I thought that this increase included sanitation and yard waste, and I'm being told it doesn't.
This is the resolution that was proposed from the beginning, and it was the municipal garage. And as
Okay.
far as the $35,000 goes, Bill, there was not an increase of $35,000?
It was to the engineering head, he got $7,000, and there were various raises given to buildings and grounds, and also clerical staff. within those departments.
Go back and look at the dollar amount,
Yep,
but they were taking over all three.
yep.
My only real concern with this, and believe me, it's not the money, believe me, my whole concern with this is if municipal garage is as dire as we say it is, I need to see what, an action statement, some sort of course of action that's gonna be undertaken to straighten these things out, other than oversight. I wanna see what kind of a game plan you're gonna put in place, how you're gonna address these issues for $20,000 or $10,000 $10,000. I think if it's as dire as we say it is, and I think it'd behoove us to even look at a different structure altogether, as far as maybe put a department head there that can really be the ones that answers to us. I have a hard time, dealing with all the time is elected officials. And it's just, I mean, when I first got elected, John Dunleavy was the head of the town garage, and I had a real hard time with that. And I said, no, we can't do that. So we ended up taking Johnny Reeve and splitting him up or whatever. But I have a hard time with an elected official taking on those types of duties where the oversight really belongs on the town board to have control over who's there. And we don't have control over elected.
Well, I think there's a couple issues. We, there was by the independent audit committee had done the audit report of the town garage. And in doing that, there was, one of the recommendations was to have more oversight in the town garage. At that point, there was, somebody from the engineering department that had oversight of the garage, which was very difficult, and there was still a lot of issues going on there at the time. So then it was given to somebody from the supervisor's office, which continued to still have problems over there. So there was sort of Band-Aids put in place
I don't
to manage this, and
there's definitely problems
there's
here.
never been a sustainable solution to do that. And I think that what this resolution does is it puts Geo, the highway superintendent, for a 1-year period of time to come in and to manage the garage, assess what some of the issues are. I think one of the other challenges with the municipal garage is the amount of work that comes into the garage. I think we also have an opportunity that Mr. Woodson has expressed about doing some shared services into the garage that will benefit the revenue coming in to be able to make the municipal garage sustainable. And I think that this is, what this resolution is doing, is trying to get a sustainable solution to something that's sort of been lacking for several years, and it's less than a year trial period to see if it works,
I can
because it all
absolutely
sunsets.
appreciate all of those concerns. I'm just not sure that this is the way I haven't seen an action plan. You're telling me things that I'm not privy to, as far as what
We
kind
can
of,
certainly ask for the
what kind of
clarification on
plan
that.
do we have, what kind of oversight we have. I'm just afraid, and you know what, our highways in the town of Riverhead, as well as the ones that we're in charge of with the county and with the state, with the coordination and our drainage issues and our street sweepers and our leaf pickups and all those things that Geo's in charge of, which is very important. It comes down to health, safety, and welfare as far as I'm concerned. And it's so important to me. And Geo does a great job with that. He's spearheaded a lot of great programs, and he runs a pretty smooth ship. He's got his workers the way that they understand how it has to be done. And I don't want to divert from that. And I'm not saying that he can't do both. I'm just wondering.
If you'd like some clarification on the description, that could certainly be provided.
Well, I think it's important because like I said, I think I'd rather have a full-time department head there that we could probably do, and that's answerable directly to us to spearhead these things and actually be accountable. And then maybe take on more things if need to be, if there's not enough work there. Somebody says there's not.
I think that I trust Geo to have the integrity to not take on duties that he couldn't handle. And I think he has an understanding of what has to be done there. I also think that the close proximity of the two facilities make it work.
Well,
I think it's a good, and we don't have any other plans right now.
Well, we're gonna,
But what is
I don't want
happening,
those right here on camera. but-
and Geo, I'm sorry, Warren, if you could just give me a
Sure.
Geo, years ago,
If you're gonna address, Gio, would you come up to the podium if you, sorry, Warren.
That's all right.
I've just known him for 30 years. So.
years ago, when Johnny Reed retired, do you remember when all those raises were given out and there was a proposal to give you an extra $20,000 a year to take over municipal garage, yard waste, and sanitation?
It was talk about it, it never materialized though.
And
Right,
and I think
but
Johnny
if I
Reed
could
was
just
making about
finish, if I could just finish
$97,000.
my point.
I know, but I'm just saying, you know, this is kind of putting Gio in a very
I'm
awkward
asking you
spot
a
here.
question. So, there was a proposal to give you $20,000 more a year to take over all three facilities, and I was in support of that. So now, we're just saying that you're gonna take over the municipal garage, and we all know that there's several problems with the yard waste facility and the amount of material that's being brought in. We're now paying an outside agency to grind up all of our yard waste, which Gio had all the equipment to do at the time. And I just think that we are spending a ton of money, giving out raises and hiring an outside company to come to the yard waste facility when the 20,000 years ago when Johnny Reed was retiring was supposed to cover all of it, and you were gonna use your equipment for the yard waste facility.
Certain
Okay,
aspects
can
of it.
I just would like to answer for a second. When Johnny Reed retired, he was making a salary of $97,363. This was a resolution that was discussed at work session, was municipal garage. This is the public work session where we're discussing this about municipal garage, and now you're bringing a different conversation into all other different departments to add to it.
Okay, well then we might have to go
So-
to another public hearing, because when I discussed it with Gio, it was municipal garage, yard waste, and sanitation, right?
I don't know, I'm a little confused myself. I see what you have, for the meeting here is municipal garage, but then I hear other people saying
Okay.
all three, so.
That's
No, I
fine.
haven't heard all three. I've heard
Yeah.
municipal garage. I know that we.
Well,
we gave
according
you
to Jody,
$10,000.
it was three, the
I'll
three,
pull
and
the
then it
minutes
was
back
what you
from
guys
Johnny
said,
Well, I
Reed.
just
never talked
municipal.
about, I never talked about it.
So, I don't,
Confusing
When I
you.
voted no for the raises, and I said I'll give the 20,000 to Gio for all three, because that's what was discussed back then, and I'll recall the minutes.
Well, we're
As a
not
matter of
talking
fact, I
about
would
that
like to
now.
recall the minutes and make them part of the record.
Okay, well, this is not, it's not a, you know,
I know.
an argument with Gio here. Thank you very
No, it's
much,
not.
Gio.
No, it's not an argument.
My understanding is it was strictly for municipal garage. I had a lengthy conversation with Gio about his plan for his implementation of his plan at the town garage, and I would suggest the rest of the board to do the same if you haven't.
I
was very
suggested he puts it in
satisfied.
if he's looking for a stipend. I mean, somebody should be discussing with the entire board. This is what I'm talking about.
Okay, and
We need oversight as well.
I hear that you're
Not a
asking for a
one-man- not a
job
one-man
description
show.
with it, and we can certainly provide that.
I'd like to
Somebody else spoke about us.
comment on that. Warren McKnight of Riverhead again. Unfortunately, over the past years and during the previous supervisor's administration, there was rumors or some things that couldn't be proven that went on after hours over there. And I think it would be important, this is just my suggestion, if you posted rules and regulations as to what goes on there, if they have to do extra work after hours, and that might clarify things and bring home the point to all of us that we have to focus on what has to be done at the municipal garage.
I know that. There's a lot of issues at town garage that we don't wanna go into for obvious reasons.
Yes.
Because a lot of it has to do with, they had a full-time secretary and went to part-time secretary to no secretary. So there's a lot of infrastructure that sort of like been melting away. So it was set up to fail by us unfortunately over the years as people retired and we tried to do more with less, and that fell through the cracks. So you're right. So that's what being addressed.
Yeah, so if you could post some rules and regulations and maybe some, how would you say, consequences. That's all I have to
Well,
say.
I
You know,
think that's the point of this, is to try and get some accountable oversight for
Thank
those
you.
kinds of policies and procedures to be in place and followed through, so.
Thank you.
And
Thank
a
you.
lot of those recommendations that came forth through the audit committee were addressed. There are now cameras, there's key fobs, there's other things that have been put in place to correct the problems that were happening at the municipal garage.
Thank you.
Seeing nobody else, I will, close the public comment close the hearing, public hearing, but leave it open for written comment until Friday, March 16th.
March 16th.
March 16th.
Day before the referendum.
Could I ask you one question, really has nothing to do with it, I know it's real life. I noticed that we're doing for the extension queue is being moved to the 27th now.
No, the public, it's our next resolution.
Oh.
It's March 13th, but
Yeah.
it's just changing the
But I
location.
just saw something here from John about an
It might have been a subject. Is it just in the subject? It's just a question about the qualified and eligible.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The
It's
next qualified and eligible will be a follow-up to the one on the 27th, which will now be March 13th at 6 PM at Pulaski Street School.
Okay.
At this time, I will close the, can I have a first and second to close the town board meeting and to open the CDA meeting?
I move that we close the town board meeting and open up the CDA meeting.
Second?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten,
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
The CDA meeting is now opened.
Good afternoon, Dawn Thomas, Riverhead Town CDA. We have resolution number 4, which is a resolution authorizing the town clerk to publish the attached notice of continuation of public hearing on the Community Development Agency's designation of Calverton Aviation and Technology LLC, a joint venture to be formed by Illuminati Aerospace LLC and 555 Real Estate 1 LLC as a qualified and eligible sponsor for the purchase and development of approximately 1,643 plus or minus acres located within the premises known as the Enterprise Park at Calverton, EPCAL, consistent with the goals and objectives of the Planned Development PD zoning district adopted on August 16, 2016, the Town of Riverhead Comprehensive Master Plan as amended on August 2, 2016, and the Town of Riverhead Calverton Enterprise Park Urban Renewal Plan as amended on August 2, 2016.
Could you repeat that, please?
I was just gonna say that.
I couldn't help
I
it.
tell you, the beginning of this year's been rough on the voice.
I'll move that resolution. So moved.
Seconded.
The vote, Kent?
I just want to say before voting that I was really pleased with the turnout from the community that night. It made me proud of Riverhead that so many people were concerned about something. The questions were good, everyone was respectful, and I look forward to the second part of the Q&A. I vote yes.
Okay. Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
I just want to say that the original letter of intent was between the Town of Riverhead and Illuminati. Since then, it's been Town of Riverhead and 555 Ventures, and now Town of Riverhead and 555 Real Estate 1, and Illuminati, and CAT. And I voted no last time to schedule the qualified and eligible hearing because I'm not putting my name or a yes vote on my name next to any contract that has anything to do with this deal. No.
Wooten?
I so look forward to the second half of this where more of the public, the other half, can come out and speak. So I vote yes.
Jen Smith?
I vote yes, and I want to put it out there again, the public hearing will be on March 13th at 6 PM. So that's 6 PM, not at 7, and it's at Pulaski Street Elementary School. And we just moved the venue on it, so we had an overflowing house, and it was difficult for people to sit. So we moved it so that we have more seating. So yes.
The resolution was adopted. Resolution number 5 authorizes the chairwoman to execute airport registration and security plan under New York Anti-Terrorism Preparedness Plan.
So moved?
Seconded.
The vote, Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes.
Wooten?
Yes.
Jen Smith?
Yes.
The resolution was adopted.
I make a motion, we close the CDA meeting and open up the town board meeting. So moved.
Seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes.
Wooten?
Yes.
Jen Smith?
Yes.
And the meeting is now closed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any comments on this?
Okay, so we will move on to resolutions. We'll start with 154. Oh, I'm sorry, would anybody like to come up and comment on any resolutions before we start going through the resolutions? We like the comments.
You know, that's a good game plan. I like it.
We're here commenting on resolution. We're here commenting on resolution. I just wonder what this means here.
Just say that,
The resolution, I think it's
Say the number?
if they have the numbers in the beginning, if you could just say what the number.
Yeah, I think it's 171. I think that's the number of it.
Claims
171.
made.
Is that the one with the attorney authorizes settlement of those claims made against the town of Riverhead?
Yes.
What that
I
is,
wonder.
is that it gives the authority for, we settle some of our claims and they're done by an outside agency, so we're just giving them a value on it. So if a claim is $3,500 or less, they're able to settle that, claim. They have the authorization from the town board, but if there's a accumulation of more than $15,000 for the claims over the course of the year or at any point during the year, they need to come back to the town board and ask to be able to settle the claims any higher than that amount. So if somebody put in a claim for $4,000, the outside agency would not be able to settle it without coming before the town board.
Oh, I just wondered, what is the point of having a town attorney if he can't settle the claims? If
The
he
town
needs
attorney does
permission?
work in conjunction with the outside company in settling the claims, but at some point, it's best to have an outside agency do some of the claims where it becomes too cost prohibitive doing with inside. So it's just a cost benefit, which works better.
Oh, it depends on the monetary value of the claim.
It depends on the time that is needed to be spent on the attorney to settle the claim or to move forward with the claim. So sometimes it's cheaper to do it with an outside firm rather than do it in-house, and that has been a decision that was made.
We have a separate budget line for outside counsel. So, and outside counsel specialize in certain areas that our town attorneys may not be specializing in. So we hire outside counsel to settle certain claims. Like our police department, they have their own counsel that they handle all those claims. So the town the town attorney is sitting here today, and he's not working on any of those outside claims. So we have outside agencies that handle those things, that specialize in those cases.
Yep.
That's getting 1 million people involved in something, isn't
Well,
it?
you get a lot of complaints, trips and falls and scrapes and, you
Car
know.
accidents
Right.
and
Sometimes it's just a mailbox that came down, or it's somebody hit a piece of fence or
Branch
something like
falls
that,
off a
so
tree and hit your
their,
car and
their
it's
time
Town's fault somehow. It's town's fault it snowed and got the roads icy.
Yeah, well, I guess it gets pretty busy with all that.
It
Well, I have
does.
no idea.
All right, thank you.
Seeing nobody else, we will move on to resolutions.
Okay, resolution 154.
authorizes removal of fixed asset from the records from the system. And that is for a 9mm handgun. So moved.
Seconded,
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
yes.
Giglio.
Yes. Sorry, I'll be Hubbard.
That's right. Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 155.
Highway Building Construction Capital Project number 45126, budget adjustment, so moved.
Seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 156.
Appoints temporary secretary to the Board of Assessment Review. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yeah.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 157.
Authorizes the Community Development Department to assist in with a grant application through National Grid for the Howell House restoration, and authorizes the supervisor to execute a letter in support of the funding application. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
This application requires support of a municipality. An entity can't just apply for it on their own. So really the majority of the work that has to be done to apply for this grant is done by the owner and the developer and not necessarily the town, but she is assisting with it. So, but it has to be sponsored by a municipality. Yes.
Wooten.
Yes, just one correction. I mean, I realize that the heading says Community Development Department. It really should be agency, but it is spelled correctly within the body, so I vote yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 158.
Classifies action for Reeves Beach sanitary system upgrade. So moved.
Seconded,
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Glad we're getting this done for Reeves Beach. I vote yes.
Hubbard.
yes.
Giglio.
Good job getting the grant. Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 159.
159 reappoints members to the Town of Riverhead Wildlife Management Advisory Committee. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 160.
Appoints a senior engineering aide, so moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 161.
Appoints a maintenance mechanic 2 to the sewer district. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Justin. Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 162.
Appoints a temporary student intern 2 to the engineering department, so moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 163.
Approves a final site plan application for Peconic Care Addiction Research and Rehabilitation Center, Janway, Calverton. Suffolk County tax member number, Suffolk County tax map number 0600-135-017.56. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Abstain.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
I hope so. Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
Wind up there
Resolution
one
164.
Approves expenditure of funds non-pro tunc to acknowledge efforts of Riverhead and regional NAACP recipients. So moved.
What's your language? Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 165.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute a license agreement with Aros Cultured Oyster Company to allow the installation of floating upweller system called Flupsy in the East Creek. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
I'm very glad that we're able to help support our shellfish industry here, so yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 166.
Approves Chapter 255 application of Riverhead Central School District. That's the 5K run entitled R2R, Run to Remember, Sunday, May 20th, 2018. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Well, I know that my council mates are working out, getting ready for this, so I vote yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
In a wheelchair, yes.
Wooten.
I'll be following Jen Smith with the bottle of water. Yes.
I drive
Jen
the lead
Smith.
car.
Yes. Resolution adopted. Resolution 167.
Approves Chapter 255 application of PC Richard and Son Incorporated barbecue tent sale, May 23rd, 2018 through May 29th, 2018. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
I didn't know they sold barbecue tents. Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 168.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute license agreement with New York State Parks for 2009 Parker Boat, HIN PXM 65060D909 for police department use. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 169.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute a license agreement with the New York State Parks for a 2017 Brunswick boat. Hull identification number WCG 00013 B Bravo 717 for police department use. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 170.
Authorizes service agreement non-protunct with Waste Inc. for Town of Riverhead, Calverton Sewer District. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 171.
Gives the town attorney authorization for settlement of those claims made against the Town of Riverhead. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
I just wish we would have, like, at least given claim numbers or something in the resolution, but I know what they're for, so yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 172.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post public notice to consider a local law to amend Chapter 301 entitled Zoning and Land Development of the Riverhead Town Code, This is regarding the exterior lighting. So moved.
Seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent?
I'm glad that Jefferson got this done. I vote yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Just looking for the strikeouts and the additions, so I'm not seeing any of the strikeouts.
Keep going.
Do you see over strikes?
We have them in the work session.
We had them in the work
Here
session.
we are.
Second
No,
page.
they're here. Second page.
Oh, actually, down at the bottom of the first one, there's it's underlining in the strikeout under
Because there were a lot more
subsection B.
strikeouts in the,
There's
no,
Then, second page, the top, section 3.
B3.
okay.
Then,
Yes to the public hearing.
Okay, we're over here. Wooten?
Yes.
Jen Smith?
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 173.
Just 1 second before we move on to 173, I think, Bob, did you want to
yeah, I
amend it prior
understand
to
there's some
voting?
questions on this one, so I handed up before the meeting started an additional
Which one?
resolution, which I think
Well,
gets
this
into
is-
a little more detail. This is one of those odd scenarios
Which, you
where.
talking about 173 now?
This is,
173, yeah.
173, we just had that handed to
I
us.
understand there's some question whether retention of this firm is going to somehow lead you to be tied to them absent David Schiff. I want to make sure that you,
Oh.
I can make a statement that, first and foremost, the retention agreement or the engagement letter that was submitted by Kimley Horn refers to David Schiff as being the one who's being,
Right,
the
we're
party
following
who's
him.
doing the services.
Right.
Unusual case, we went to trial, I know you know the history of it, and we're in a position where we have to retry the case. Judge Leo is directed our counsel to produce Mr. Schiff. He has subsequently left the firm he was with. He's now employed with Kimley Horn, and we need his testimony in addition to whatever the judge directs. But the case is in the middle of trial. I have no problems with this somehow linking us to Kimley Horn down the road. It's really for Mr. Schiff to testify. It states that the scope of services are for him to prepare, provide professional services, and offer testimony, in that case, Traditional Links.
Right.
The scope of the project is defined as the Traditional Links project. So, again, because it's defined in that way, I don't see it opening us up to other projects or other work. So, I'm
And if
hoping.
he leaves this firm, then,
I don't think he's gonna leave next month, because trial, he's being called to
This is
testify.
just
again next
this is
month.
just
Okay.
following his employment,
Yep.
basically.
I think he was supposed to start Good Friday, but the judge realized it's Good Friday, so it's pushed back a little bit, but
The rates
they're
are
gonna
the
start
same.
very, very soon. His rate's the same as his prior firm,
okay, great.
okay?
Thank you.
Yep.
Do you want to read it? No, you read it.
Authorizes the retention of Kimley Horn of New York PC as an expert in the matter of Traditional Links LLC versus Riverhead Town Assessors. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes, provided that his rate of pay is the same and that he is still employed with Kimley Horn when the testimony is given. Yes.
Wooten?
Yes.
Jen Smith?
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 174.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post a public notice to consider a local law to amend chapter 251 entitled Noise, Public Nuisance, and Property Maintenance of the Riverhead Town Code. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent?
I'm pleased to put this about bamboo into our code. This is a proactive measure, and I thank Brad Hammond and Bob Cos for getting it done. I vote yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
And I thank the Code Committee for responding to my request to get this changed and appearing at the Code Revision Committee when they were not going to move this forward and then decided to after I came in and gave a presentation. So I thank the whole Code Revision Committee for moving this forward. Yes.
Wooten?
And I would like to know. Actually, I did receive some letters about this, which is, I directed them to come to this public hearing, because there are some pros and cons, but it's a good start, and it's, I vote yes to the public hearing.
Jen Smith?
And thank you, Catherine, for getting this moved forward in the code committee. Yes.
Resolution adopted.
Everybody got it out of.
Everybody did a good job, that's what's
Don't
about
break your
working
arm.
together.
Holy mackerel.
Resolution 175.
Appoints member to Parking District Advisory Committee. So moved.
Seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes.
Wooten?
Yes.
Jen Smith?
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 176. Reappoints members to Parking District Advisory Committee, so moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 177.
177 is a resolution that Jody has to call.
To pay the bills, so moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent. Yes. Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
And then also, I would like to, can I have a first and second to untable, what is this, not
Take
to
off
untable?
off the floor.
So take a resolution off the floor. Jody, this was requested by you, do you still wanna move forward with this?
Yes, we're going to rescind the
Okay.
resolution because the general construction contract came in on Friday.
I just have to untable, I just
I'll
have to
make a
take it off
motion
the
that
floor.
we
Wait, let me just,
untable?
I just need a first and second to take it off, to
Take it off
Take it
floor.
off the
take it off the floor. It's a resolution, rescinds the portion of Resolution 140 of 2018, which authorizes the town clerk to republish and repost proposals for EPCAL Bicycle Path Vietnam Veterans Memorial Trail construction project.
I'll make a motion that we take this resolution off the floor, so.
I'll second that.
Okay, first and second, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution 178, we'll call it, is
Okay,
taken
do you-
off the floor.
Okay, now do you wanna read it?
Yep, I make a resolution 178 rescinds that portion of the resolution number 140 of 2018, which authorized the town clerk to republish and repost proposals for EPCAL Bicycle Path Vietnam Veterans Memorial Trail construction project. So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yeah, the general construction contract we put out for bid, and Rosemar is the one who won the general construction contract, and they were the low bidder last time, and somebody that the town has a lot of experience doing this type of work with the roadways and what have you. So, Rosemar, we're not going to be putting it out for a request for proposal, trying to get a lower number, because the general construction contract came in very low. There is a portion of the grant money that we received that is required to be 30% of the funds that we received of the $650,000, 30% of that has to be given out to a minority woman business enterprise. So we are still struggling and trying to find qualified and responsible minority woman business enterprise to work on this project and receive 30% of that $650,000. So if you are a minority or a woman business enterprise and have experience and can be qualified in the industry of excavation, recycled concrete aggregate, asphalt paving, and grading, then you should reach out to Rosemar because they are looking for minority woman business enterprises. And I'll vote yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
Having completed the resolutions, I ask anybody that would like to come and address the board on any matter to please come up. Just state your name and where you're from and
What do you
what
want?
matter you would like to bring before us.
What are you from and what do you want?
Warren McKnight from Riverhead. I brought this particular matter I'm bringing up, I brought it up to one of your aides or assistants at the town board, a handsome young, polite man. I brought it up to Council Gentleman Tim Hubbard and also Council Lady Jody Giglio. For the last several weeks, as I walk into Town Hall, anybody, for the first impression in Town Hall, I sent Jody a picture on this.
Today.
Yes, and I pointed it out to Tim today. People think that the battery recyclable thing is a garbage area, and they're throwing garbage in there, and the custodial staff has to take it out, which damages, I think, their morale. And also, I recommended to the young person that they put up a sign. I made some examples. You know, this one says, "No trash, household batteries only," and you can point to the trash over to the other side. And here's another one, "No garbage, household batteries only." This way, it'll also educate our public, which, you know, well, that we do recycle here, because if you look in there, it looks like garbage, and it makes a bad impression. I don't know what else to say. You know, it's been over a week and a half, 2 weeks now, and what can I tell you?
Okay, we'll look into that, thank you.
Thanks, Warren.
Harriet Haas, Riverhead. I was watching the Academy Awards on television, and I was so impressed with how so many people were getting up there and fighting for this cause or that cause or some other cause. I never saw anything like this before. You hear of people fighting for one cause, but they were fighting for everything, either gun control or discrimination or housing or this or that. And this is what's going to make America even greater, because somewhere along the line, these people that stand up are going to win. And there's going to be a lot of changes in this country over the next few years. And we're going to see something great happen. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harriet.
I'm with you, kid.
Good afternoon. I'm Robert Skinner from Jamesport. I was totally unprepared for this Q&E hearing the other day. It was a little overwhelming. And I was, I guess, confused about the system and how to present questions. The card system seemed that it had to be predetermined from the types of people that gave the questions. And I had questions that came up during the course of all the presentations. And, but by then it's too late to give in a card. So is there a mechanism, when it left off with the continuation, I believe the verbiage was, next up would be the board submitting their questions.
Well, first what's gonna happen is because when everybody, they didn't really answer the questions
Yes.
from the people that were here.
Mhm.
So we had the transcription, so we're sending the transcription to them. So the beginning of the meeting will then be them following up with the questions that were asked at the meeting the other day.
Okay.
But if you have questions that
Yes.
you feel are unanswered and you want to send those
Well,
to the
it's
town.
not so much unanswered. I haven't asked the question because it came,
We
like
can ask it for you.
You will also have an opportunity at the next meeting.
Yeah,
There's no
Alright.
time limit on there's no time limit on when the hearing is gonna start and finish. So we really it's open until we feel that the questions have all been asked and answered.
Alright.
So there's no, there's
so
no
then-
restriction on when you can ask.
So just for my trying to visualize what's going to happen, so then the board's going to ask those questions.
Well,
And
they'll-
Well, not necessarily.
they're getting the transcript, so they'll come and ask the questions that were asked of them.
Okay,
Then the board will have an opportunity
We
to
may
ask
open it up to
their
people before
questions,
we do.
and then we can open it up again to the public after that.
all right.
There's no,
You can.
what was it?
Will, you said you can open it up to the public. Will you open it back up to the
Certainly,
public?
if there's people that are still interested in talking and
Yeah, I
asking
would
questions
probably-
after all the presentation,
I'd probably do
if
that
people
before us,
feel
probably.
that their questions haven't been answered at that point, then most certainly,
Okay,
yeah.
You may, because they are answering all the questions that was posed, and believe me, there's 100 pages worth of, they may, through their answering those questions, might actually touch on what you might want to ask. So
Right.
you might not feel compelled to come up if you're satisfied with some of the answers, but absolutely, the public's going to be invited back up as well.
okay, that's good. We'll see you there.
Okay, good. Is there anybody else that wanted to come up? Seeing nobody, can I have a first and second to
So
close the
moved.
meeting? Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
She went yesterday, she
Meeting
so
is closed.
excited.